Back on Cricbuzz Chatter. The Tiger's back. DK is back. Only he's looking much cooler. He's wearing all hearts because the game's over. He's thinking of these two kids and going back to them. So he's wearing the two hearts as well. My kids are too big, so I don't have to think about them. Hi, DK. Why are we indoors again? Because it's raining outside. Can you imagine if India had batted on? No, it wouldn't have made any difference at all because there was a reserve day. But yeah, the rain and the clouds are symbolic of the mood everyone is in. Is your mood like that as well? Just a little sunken?
Very much, Harsha. Very grey at the moment. Going in, I think, just like you said yesterday, 10% chance is what
10,
you believed
10.
in? 10%?
I genuinely believe
fair?
it was 10.
And what, more than anything else, the one good thing that happened on 2, 3, 4 was India fought back. And that was what you wanted in a way. Just a fight. Take them deep. We all probably deep down knew the eventuality, but
Yes.
take it deep. And that didn't happen. We got blown out of the water first session.
Yeah. I mean, clearly for India to have had any chance, Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane had to bat through till lunch. That's about today's rate, 24, 25 overs. They make another 70, 80. They bring it down to close to 200. Suddenly Australia's thinking and all these scenarios and we start to write a story. Hero meets heroine, children come. Unfortunately, we don't write scripts. But that dismissal of Virat Kohli, I want to talk to DK about that Virat Kohli dismissal for two reasons. One is it came against the run of play. He had not got beaten till 2 balls before that. It was the first time he got beaten, but the ball with which he got out, that poke outside off. I mean, when it comes off, that cover drive looks gorgeous, but that poke caught at slip is happening too often.
The good thing about Cricbuzz Chatter is we discussed the why it happened, not
Yes.
what happened. Now, why it happened, two things. They had a spread out field, so he was getting the odd occasional single. But more importantly, during his brief stay at the crease, he played a couple of crunching shots, went straight to the fielder. Now, as a batter, you're batting in your 40s, you have this landmark just looming in the corner, you're putting bat to ball, but you're not getting runs, they're bowling tight, you feel balls, you're not able to really latch on to the bad balls, so then you try and create one subconsciously in your mind and you're waiting, okay, if I get something, I need to get it off. He's batting on 49, let's not forget, he's batting on 49. And Scott Boland, 2 balls before bowls the in swing. The next one gets him beaten, the ball before,
Yes,
and then bowls the sucker ball, the fullest ball of the day, the one that's closest to Virat Kohli during his whole stay this morning, and he falls for it. And it was Scott Boland's skill for sure, but also Virat Kohli has been dismissed in a similar fashion,
Yes.
chasing a ball on the 6th, 7th stump, and that is what he will be upset with.
A 50 for a Virat Kohli would not have been a destination. But it's something there. It's a little bit there. But yeah. But I think I saw Virat Kohli batting with certainty, with the precision that you come to associate with Virat Kohli till the 2 balls before he got out. So I don't know what to make of that of that innings. We didn't have a big one, but I thought he looked good. I think the one positive, I know DK is going to come and tell me again, see, you're sugarcoating, you're being positive. Maybe you guys will think. No, I like to look at the positives first and then look back. Was the batting of Ajinkya Rahane. I thought he was completely decisive. We talked about that when we were referring to his first innings, 89 as well. When he got out, when we make a mistake, what is our first reaction? We get out, we do this.
Yes.
Right? And he did exactly that because he had tried so hard, and that tells you why test match batting is difficult. Somewhere you will lose concentration.
He was arguably our best batter across both innings. The solidity he showed, the composure, and most importantly, we're forgetting a lot of what has happened. He's been dropped from the team. He's coming back into the team.
Yes.
A lot of word on the street has been the fact that maybe he's just come heavily on how well he's batted in IPL. So, he's having a lot in his mind. He's a human being at the end of the day. Yes, he had a good domestic season, but what followed through for CSK was really what got the nod because they felt that, wow, Ajinkya is batting in a different template altogether.
Yes.
And they enjoyed watching him bat, and it was so great to see him walk amidst all the pressure. Apart from the fact that it was Australia in a World Test Championship final, he walked under a lot of pressure. Cummins was bowling brilliantly in the first innings. The second innings, even more pressure because you're chasing a total, and he came out there and batted like an absolute champion, and you were not sugarcoating that in any way, Harsha. I think he really batted beautifully, and it's important to talk about the positives as well, because on a day like this when things have not gone wrong for India, let's also not forget that we are the number 1 test ranked team as we sit here and speak,
Yes.
and number 2 in the world in the previous cycle, and that should count for something. The
should.
same set of guys have done that and achieved that and taken India to where we are. Sometimes we get too caught up with the result and too upset. I understand, like a lot of us, an ICC trophy is something that has been missing for some years now. Fair enough, but you also need to give credit to the finalists, I feel.
So let's look at what happened thereafter. 7 wickets, 70 runs in the session. I'm not going to look at the 7 wickets because I'm not worried about what Umesh got and Siraj got and Shami got. Because the moment Kohli and Jadeja gone, that was a body blow. The moment Rahane got out, you knew it was over. Thereafter, I mean, KS Bharat had battled for a while, but you knew the game is over. And when you know you cannot win, I don't know if it's happened with you with exams or something else that you've done. When you know you cannot win, something goes out of you. So will focus on those first 3 or 4 wickets. Don't worry about Siraj getting out or Shami getting out. But two questions come out of this that you have to address. First is, are we playing too much white ball cricket? Are we playing too many big games close to the IPL? Is that a reality? Is that an eventuality that you can do nothing about? That is one factor. Second, and I want to address that first, is there are 8 people in this team of about the same age. So you look at Rohit, Virat, Pujara, Rahane, Jadeja, Ashwin, Umesh, Shami, all about the same age. Is the stage now come when you've got to start moving slowly? Or has it already happened and the people who had to do that were not available here? Which is Bumrah, Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul batting as a middle order test batter. So has that process already begun and it's just that they were not there?
I think a bit of both. In many ways, we know that a lot of them are in the mid 30s. So a few questions there for Mr. Rahul
Yes.
Dravid as to who he wants to keep and who he wants to move on with. Now, the other names that you said, Bumrah, KL Rahul,
Rishabh
Shreyas
Pant.
Iyer and Rishabh Pant
Shreyas Iyer,
will
correct.
walk into this team. Let's keep it. Let's make it very obvious. I think they warrant a place in the team in this cycle. They have been one of the key reasons why we are sitting here talking in England today, because that's the kind of success that they have helped India achieve. Now, the next topic is, I think, who we need to talk about as batters as we sit down here. Number one, Yashasvi Jaiswal. He's had a phenomenal domestic season. Are we going to find a place for him? Number two, Sarfraz Khan. Now, that's been a big name doing the rounds for some time now in the middle order. If you want to fit him in, who are you going to leave out? And then followed by the Mukesh Kumars and the rest of them, is there a place for a new medium pacer to come in and stamp his authority over a period of time? Are you going to give him that 2-year cycle to find a couple of medium pacers? Because let's be very, very honest, I think Shami and Siraj were very good, but Umesh and Shardul as bowlers went as effective as Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma would have thought it out to be. So Shardul Thakur, yes, he contributed to the bat, but are we always going to look at him as a bowler who can bat or a pure all-rounder? I would think more as a bowler who can bat. And then
Yes,
would you
has to
trust
be.
him to constantly play test matches? And Umesh Yadav, where do you see him in the context of things?
Yeah, all those are absolutely valid points. And all I will add to that is, if you're not going to look at Yashasvi Jaiswal, if you're not going to look maybe at the Ruturaj Gaikwad kind of players, if you're not going to look at a Sarfaraz, then people playing Ranji Trophy cricket today are going to say, even if I make 1,000 runs, they're not going to look at me. So I think the Ranji Trophy as a gateway has to be kept alive. I think we have to have ready-made replacements who will come from India, which is what happened when India were playing their best cricket. The other issue is the IPL. I mean, I'm going to put it back to all of you watching this. When the IPL was on, it is people like you and us that delivered record viewerships to the IPL. We all fell in love with the IPL. It was a fantastic IPL this year. Was the IPL the reason for WTC? It could be debated, but my view is that the two now have to coexist. We cannot say that take people out of the IPL to prepare for a test match. My view is that we just have to coexist. Ajinkya Rahane showed it is possible to coexist. Virat Kohli showed briefly it is possible to coexist.
Cameron Green showed it.
Cameron Green,
coexist.
Mohammad Siraj showed. I mean, you saw Siraj bowling 1 over 2 over spells when you were standing back. So Siraj showed you could coexist. So it's not impossible. We just have to get used to it. That's my view.
Absolutely. Look, I think it is a brilliant tournament. If you talk about IPL being the problem, then over the years, India have come to semi-finals or finals in 14, 15, 16, 17, 19,
Correct.
21, 22 now, 23 also. Now, that's a great record that we can be proud of. But we're looking for that silverware. We're looking for that championship. Yes. But if we have achieved so much success to be consistent semi-finalists and finalists, so we're doing a lot of things right. It's a little bit of tweaking here and there. It so happened that post IPL there was World Test Championship immediately, and it could be the case from here on because of how the FTP is. You know, at this part of the year, all the teams that want to play bilaterals want to play at a time when there's not going to be too much rain in their country, which in many ways forces only England to be available at this point of the year. So then it's always going to be a case in point of what time of June do you want to play this match and how you prepare.
But
So
I have an axe to grind on that.
please tell.
It's almost like saying, and I've mentioned this parallel so many times, it's almost like saying, you know what? The entire clay court circuit you've done well. Where is the final going to be? Final is going to be played on Wimbledon. So suddenly all the clay court specialists are gone out because you need a different kind of person to play there. India did very well at home. Suddenly, can you imagine if instead of India, Sri Lanka was playing or somebody else was playing here? Suddenly the final, which is a one-off game, not a best of three, the final is a one-off game, is being played in completely different conditions. So you have to keep that in mind. The conditions did favor Australia, but I still think it was that one day, and we've been saying, Virat has been saying this over the last couple of years, that there is just a session that is causing it. That first one day cost us the final. So there you are.
You know, Asha, in an ideal world, I think a WTC final should be over 3 games where the second place gets to play the first game. For example, this match could have been played first in India and then the next match in Australia. And if they won all, then they could move on to the third game as a decider and Australia get to host it because they were top of the table. Now, do we have time though?
No.
I think, you can't fault ICC as well up to a point because they're doing their best in trying to keep Test cricket alive, trying to make bilaterals meaningful, and we have to give them credit for that.
Okay, so there you are. We talked about it briefly, but we'll just go one more time to it in the hot seat. Does India have a future as a powerful test playing nation?
Absolutely. In fact, I feel it's only one of 3 or maximum 4 nations which will have a powerful test cricket team, and India will definitely be a force in this format as well. We have the skill, we have the players, and most importantly, we have a great domestic system, and that will keep feeding good players.
So now India go from here. They play 2 test matches in the West Indies. I think the big test of all that DK is saying, the domestic system, etc., the big test will come when England come to India to play 5 test matches. Now, it's been a lot of people have been critical, saying that you prepare those kind of tracks at home, how can you play overseas? The way the system works is you need wins to qualify.
Correct.
If you need wins to qualify, you're not suddenly going to tell England, gee, please come, we'll give you the wickets that you want. Because when you go elsewhere, people will again prepare wickets like that to win. So India have no choice, given the point system, but to prepare wickets that will win. I won't be surprised if you have more of the same against England. You've got 2 years. My view, my fear, my hope is that Shreyas Iyer, Prasidh Krishna, another bowler that I rate highly, Shreyas Iyer, Prasidh Krishna, maybe Mohsin Khan, all these people now start to come back. If Rishabh Pant comes back, fantastic. If Bumrah comes back, fantastic. And then maybe hope for 25. Before that, there is World Cup in 23. We'll see about the world. It's been a disappointing test match, let's be honest. But if you look deep within and ask, did you expect India to win this? After day one, we didn't. Otherwise,
Harsha, but in many ways, this Indian team also showed why it's done so well. Just the resilience, the perseverance, that body blows that Rahane and Shardul got, and then get that partnership going. Keep India in the hunt right up to the end. Credit to India for what they have done. But Australia was definitely the better team.
Eventually, sport is about fun. It's about smiling. It was a very disappointing result. But let's hope there has to be an introspection. I hope there's a slightly more public introspection. But I foresee that once Bumrah is back, Rishabh is back, Shreyas is back, the change that we are talking about will happen automatically. When do we meet next? This test match is against the West Indies. There's lots more cricket coming up. But at the moment, DK is going back to those 2. And I'm going back home. We'll all take a break. You take a break as well. Let the tempers cool. Let everything calm down. Finally, just a game that all of us enjoy.